Mark Anthony Dagyenga, a senior Ghanaian journalist and a strong believer of Pan-Africanism, who promotes that Africa should be united and stand in solidarity for common matters. In his recent Zoom meeting with Obi in honor of Africa's Future Africa program, Mark Anthony Dagyenga said African media should counter Western media warfare.
For us journalists in Africa to also come together, to sit down, to look through, to have our own agenda for Africa. If we don't come together to set up our own agenda, to project the image of Africa, then some people will tell the African story for Africans. Meanwhile, it should be that the Africans should be able to tell their own story to the outside world. But we are not seeing that. Ever since this incident happened in Ethiopia, what has been the story that has been told by African media? We are all copying from the international media platforms. We are all copying from the Post. We are all copying from other international media platforms. When in fact the incident is happening on our own soil. We have quality media men who are even on the BBC, who are even on the CNN. Why are we not telling our own stories? But then we are making the foreign media tell our stories for us.
The journalist also says Ethiopia is a country that has never colonized and is still fighting an African battle against the Western interference. He also called upon all African countries to join hands with Ethiopia in this critical time for all the Africans.
Africans should come together. African countries should come together to help each and every one of the states or in the African continent. Ethiopia needs Africa, and Africa needs Ethiopia, because if Ethiopia collapses now, it therefore means that the headquarters of Africa has collapsed, which means that the entire unity, the entire African race is affected negatively.
According to Mark, the spirit of Pan-Africanism and Africa's unity was started in Ethiopia and spread to the rest of the countries in the continent. Regarding the Western countries' fake news and propaganda about Africa's matters, Mark Anthony Dagyenga said African journalists and media should tell the real situation of the continent to the global community. The journalist also called upon the African Union and leaders of the African countries to act according to the mandate given to them by the African people and react on common matters of Africans.
I believe that the African Union should call a meeting, an emergency meeting, immediately. There should be an African Union meeting immediately. Because this is an emergency issue. Africans shouldn't take what is happening in Ethiopia lightly. They shouldn't wait. We think that, yes, Ethiopia is a sovereign nation, so it can handle its own internal affairs or it can handle its own issues. But this is the time Africans need to come together, meet, and map up strategies on how best to handle or to help Ethiopia to overcome the current challenge it is facing.
Ethiopia played a key role in Pan-Africanism and Africa's unity, he stated. Pan-Africanism goes beyond boundaries, ethnicity, language, and political party, Mark Anthony said. If Pan-Africanism is strong as it was before, Ethiopia will not fight Africa's battle alone, he stressed.
If Pan-Africanism was still strong or stronger, Ethiopia wouldn't be going through what is going now. Ethiopia would have seen a lot of African countries coming in to ensure that there is peace at large. That's what is happening. We need to come up and make sure that we strengthen and revive the Pan-Africanism spirit in Africa.
According to the journalist, African stories should be told by African journalists and called upon all the African media to come together and work on common mindset so as to benefit the Africa that all share equally.